I'm actually so excited about this episode today. We're going to be talking about anxiety, specifically root causes, like those secret underlying causes of anxiety from an emotional and spiritual standpoint. This episode is super raw and unadulterated. I literally had this thought last night. I'm real quick sharing it with you guys, and it's definitely a topic I'm going to address more in the future, but I hope you enjoy. Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed by health advice, struggling to stay consistent, and craving more ease in your diet and calm in your mind? Then you are in the right place, my friend. Welcome to the Health Habit Podcast. I'm Maria, a nature-loving herbalist, science-obsessed nutrition therapy practitioner, and your guide to holistic healing. If you're ready for simple wellness solutions, nutrition tips, and mindset shifts to help you feel energized, fulfilled, and in control of your health, then brew up some tea or crack open a kombucha, and let's get into it. Alright, my loves. So the other day I received an email newsletter, and it was pretty much just talking about how sometimes we get signs from the universe, from God, and we just ignore them so often that we stop even realizing that they're signals. And this kind of lingered in my mind for a few days, and literally last night I just was thinking about the anxiety that I've experienced, and I was thinking about it in terms of that email newsletter. And what that kind of train of thought led me to is a huge emotional and spiritual cause, like a root cause of anxiety. And I'm going to share it with you today because I don't experience anxiety anymore, like every once in a while, but I have had panic attacks. Like I have had severe anxiety. I've worked through that, and like a lot of the women in my family. So this has been passed down for generations, and the fact that I no longer struggle with this problem tells me that I have obviously done something major. And if I have done something that positively impacts my life, I'm going to share it with you guys, period. So the thought that I had is so often, and I really hope that this comes out correctly, so bear with me, I'm probably going to go through it a couple times because I literally did not prep for this episode. This is completely off the cuff stream of consciousness today. When we are going about our daily lives, there are times where we get like a weird feeling like, I don't feel like doing this, this feels kind of wrong, and we shut down that feeling, and we tell ourselves in our mind that I am being ridiculous for having X feeling, right? I am overreacting. This shouldn't bother me. Whatever specific words you tell yourself, we essentially just convince ourselves that the feeling we're having is not important, and thus we try to ignore it. And this, we do it all the time with like teeny little things, like I want to go to restaurant A, but the rest of my family wants to go to restaurant B. And so we go to restaurant B, and I feel kind of sad about it, but I'm like, it doesn't matter. I shouldn't feel sad. And so we push that feeling down. And so as I was kind of thinking about this, I was like, it's that pushing down repeatedly. We do it over and over that causes anxiety to the point that we no longer respect and honor those sensations that we have, the sensations that say this is not meant for me. And so our psyche, our spirit, at first it starts whispering like, hey, I need this, like I need you to like hear me, I need you to feel me, I need you to honor me and respect me. And then if we keep ignoring, the voice gets louder and louder. And this happens with all things, like physical body, with our symptoms, anything. If we ignore the signals of our body, of our minds, of our spirit, it eventually gets to the point where we experience things like anxiety, like depression. And this is not to say that like we are causing these disorders. There are definitely genetic factors, which we can talk about in future episodes, but this is definitely a layer to the puzzle, because everything is complex when it comes to humans. We're complex beings, all right? And this is definitely a major contributor, especially in the beginning phases where we're just starting to feel that building anxiety becoming more and more a part of our daily lives. As I'm recording this, I'm actually in the editing process right now. Fun fact, break the third wall here. I'm literally getting the exact sensation we're talking about, where I'm like, oof! Oh, I should probably put a disclaimer so I don't get canceled. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a licensed therapist. I am just a human sharing my personal, emotional, spiritual wisdom. So don't cancel me, you guys. I love you. And moving back into the content. Another thing I want to highlight is, even if your sensation feels kind of unwarranted, like it feels like you're overreacting, it is still your feelings, okay? It is still your feelings, and those are valid, and they should be honored and respected in a fair way, okay? We need to respect everybody else's wishes, desires, and needs, but ours also need to be respected. This is a major underlying root cause of anxiety. Those daily little situations where we feel like something isn't quite right, we don't really want to do it, but we do it anyways, and then we keep giving ourselves this dumb script that we keep telling ourselves that I shouldn't be feeling this way, I am wrong for feeling this way, my feelings are wrong. Like, disclaimer, sister, we don't really control our emotions. Like, they come, they ebb, they flow. We can, over time, kind of develop our emotional capacity. But at the end of the day, they come up when they come up, and you just respond to them in whatever manner you decide to respond to them. So take that into account when you're putting these things into practice, because you don't really control your emotions. And failing to pay attention to them, that constant denial and refusal to respect your feelings and needs, that is what causes anxiety. So do yourself a favor and start to pay attention to those sensations and do something productive about them. Use them to your advantage. And listen, I am not going to sit here and tell you that working on these things is going to automatically cure everybody's anxiety, because I would just straight up be lying to you, and I promise you I will never be doing that. There are other factors to consider, for sure. Two of which are very physical and very preventable body sensations. But before I explain them, here is a quick preface. If we are putting in the work to heal and reframe our emotions and our spiritual well-being, we do need to make sure that that work is warranted. So I want to take a moment to explain two body sensations that feel very similar to anxiety but aren't actually anxiety. The first is poor hydration. If you are dehydrated, those early dehydration symptoms will feel very much like anxiety. And the second is lack of food. Again, having a lack of food and just being poorly nourished also feels very, very similar to anxiety. So before you really kind of take a deep dive into thinking about, am I ignoring emotional signals from my body, make sure you get some water, bonus points if you put some electrolytes in there, and then also have a nice healthy snack. My go-to is always nuts. Grapes, raisins are really great because they are brain food. So yeah, just make sure that you are being in tune with your physical symptoms as well as your emotional and spiritual symptoms. Everything goes together, not in a stressful way, just in a, hey, if I focus on this thing, I'm also helping that thing. Working on this is going to cure everybody's anxiety. I think that this is just one of the really core things that causes anxiety to build up over time. And there does come to be a point when our anxiety is so chronic that, just working on this particular thing isn't going to cure your anxiety. But I do think it's a factor for a lot of people. So what we can do is start asking ourselves more questions throughout the day. This also just builds your overall intuition. And then force ourselves to answer them without asking for advice. Force yourself to come up with the answer that feels right for you, and then do that thing. And then the second component, which we should be practicing at the same time, so we're doing both of these things as they come up for us in our daily lives. When you have those little sensations where it's like, oh, it doesn't feel quite right, pay attention to those. Pay attention to those and honor them as much as you can while being fair to the other people around you. And I swear, those two things are literally the secrets to treating, curing maybe even, your anxiety by yourself, free of charge and no drugs required. And when I say secrets, I'm being completely genuine, because I am telling you, I did not realize that I did these things and that these were factors in me no longer experiencing anxiety until last night. And that is after experiencing panic attacks and anxiety for years. If that's not the definition of a secret, I don't know what is. So I really hope that this has all made sense for you. This is just a short, sweet episode. I love you guys. May this bless you. I so hope that it does. And I would love to hear your ideas, your questions, your concerns, little tips that have helped you. Literally whatever you want to share. Let's just open up a real, raw discussion about anxiety. You can do that by sending me an email, a DM on Instagram, or even better, join my Facebook group. All the links are going to be in the show notes. So click whatever one resonates with you, and let's open up some deep and important conversations. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you next week. Have a beautiful day. Bye.